Hello everyone, it's the Purchaser again. Welcome to another model review. And in this one we've got something a bit different. For one, it's a 1/43rd scale model, so it's a lot larger than the ones that I normally review. For two, it's left-hand drive. And for three, it's plastic. It's not the first plastic model I've reviewed. I did do the Rapido Trains West Midlands style fleet line, which was injection moulded plastic, but this is a very different beast indeed. It's made by Abrex Toys. I've not been able to find out much about them. They're based in mainland China, I know that much. And they also do a range of 1/43rd scale cars. But that's all I can really find out about them. This is marketed as both a toy and a model. You can see the box says Abrex Toys on it. The listing on eBay, which is where this came from, said toy model bus. So it kind of covers all bases, and it does transcend the boundary between toy and model in many respects, as we'll talk about when I look around it. So I'll have a quick look around the box to start with, then we'll take the bus out of the box. I'll talk about what it is, where it operates, who operates it, should I say, and then we'll have a look around the model in the normal way. So it is a model of a Prague bus. This is essentially globalisation sitting on my board. It's a Chinese-made model of a Czech-built bus designed to be sold in the Czech Republic, and it's been reviewed by somebody who's based in the UK. So the box, it's a little bit flimsy, it's a little bit toy-like. It does betray the sort of toy origins of the company a little bit. There is a bit of dimpling there, but it's adequate enough. It's quite nicely printed on the back as well. You've got a bit of the history of the bus. The bus is an SOR NB12, as I'll talk about in a little bit. So you've got a little bit of the detail about the bus there, written in Czech. You've got PID, who I'll explain who they are before long. And you've got other bits and pieces. You've got a rather nice route map of one of the routes, presumably in Prague there. Underneath you've got bits of writing in Czech, in Slovakian, in English and in German as well, advising you it's not suitable for children under 14 years. Removing it from the outer box, you can see it's in this, again, rather toy-like and quite flimsy looking plastic tray. But then you see what I mean about it transcending the boundary between toy and model. You've got the separately fitted wing mirrors there, which go into these rather crude looking slots. But again, it's a nice detail and the kind of thing you would expect on a die-cast scale model, not so much a toy. Another way it crosses into the model territory is this. When you remove the bus, there's a sheet of self-adhesive transfers underneath. You can see it's got a destination blind, it's got various emergency exits, markings. You've got the fleet number there, 4029. You've got the registration plate, BAC 7585. You've got the wheelchair and pushchair symbols for the doors, the speed restriction, and various other markings. There's quite a lot of stuff on there, so it's quite a detailed pack, really. In fairness to the box, although I said it looks a little bit flimsy, it is perfectly adequate. I mean, this model has come from mainland China in the post. I mean, yes, the box was wrapped around in bubble wrap and in a separate posting box, you know, it had an outer box, but the bus has arrived intact after a journey of many thousands of miles. You know, I'm not reviewing a pile of bits, which, you know, for my reviews is actually quite remarkable, to be fair. If you've seen some of them before, I do tend to review some models that are in less than perfect condition. But no, this is absolutely spot on. It's arrived in one piece. So although the packaging is a little bit basic perhaps, I can't really complain. So as I said, this is a model of a Prague bus. Transport in Prague is overseen by PID, Pražská integrovaná doprava, which translates to Prague Integrated Transport. They're basically, for any UK enthusiasts watching, they're basically an equivalent to sort of Transport for London. They oversee the transport in Prague. So they oversee the buses, the trams, the local trains, the metro, some of the ferries on the Vltava River. They do the funicular that runs up to the Petrin Tower, and they also look after the chairlift cable car type thing in the zoo. But they are the overseers, so they're kind of the equivalent to Transport for London. The buses are franchised, they're operated by 14 or 15 different franchisees. The biggest one of which is DPP which is Depravny Podnik Hlavino Mesta Prahy. Apologies for the pronunciation if I've got that wrong. Translates to Prague Public Transport Company, and it's owned by the city of Prague, so in effect it's a municipal operator. So they're the biggest of the franchisees, and they are the operator of the rail bus. And this is the livery it's in of DPP. So as I said, it's the bus is an SOR NB12, made by SOR Libhavi. SOR stands for Struzeni Opravenství Rozvoje, in other words, which translates roughly to Repair and Development Association. Until 1990 they made agricultural equipment. In 1990 they diversified into buses, and at the time I'm doing this, in November 2024, they do a midi bus. They do this rigid chassis, 12 metre long single decker, the NB12, and they do an articulated version that's 18 metres long, the NB18. I didn't actually get on one of these when I went to Prague, but I did get on the articulated version. They're very, very nice buses. Lots of power, they make a lovely noise, as do these. I saw many of these driving about, and they make a lovely engine note. And they're also very well built. You get on them, there's no squeaks, rattles and bangs and things. They're really, really solid. So very nice buses. I wanted a souvenir of my trip to Prague. I wanted a bus, but I couldn't find any over there. So I had a look on the internet and ended up getting this one. So let's have a look around it. We've done a bit of the history. Bear in mind, as I say, that it does transcend the boundary between toy and model. It's marketed as both. So it's designed to be bought by adult collectors to put in their display cases or on the shelf, etc. And it's also designed to be sold for children to push around on the carpet. Having said that, there's nothing to stop children putting it on the shelf and adult collectors from pushing around the carpet. We're not here to judge. So looking at the front, it looks pretty good. The shape and the proportions look more or less spot on. The windscreen looks a bit strange for not having a destination blind, but of course that is in the pack of transfers that we saw earlier on. So when you stick that on, that will obviously make it look a bit more normal. The windscreen itself is a single piece, as the real thing is. It's nicely moulded, the shape of it, the curvature and things. The wipers appear to be separately fitted. As you can see, they're not fully painted. There's a bit of the white plastic showing through, so they would benefit from a little dab of black paint just to touch them in a little bit. But apart from that, they look really good. The mouldings and things underneath are well done as well. You've got what I assume is a DPP badge up there, and there's the SOR, the manufacturer's badge there. There is an attempt to make the headlights look as if they're behind glass, which is good as well. And the little fog lights and spotlights there. The registration plate mounting is a clip, as is the one at the back. The model is clipped and screwed together, as we'll see when I go underneath it. So in these reviews, I always start with the front and then go to the near side. I must remember to turn the bus the opposite way to normal, because of course it's left-hand drive. So there is the near side. It looks pretty good. The doors and the windows are just painted on. So there's not much relief to them, but there isn't in real life. The real bus is quite smooth and sleek looking, so it does actually capture the look of the real bus really well indeed. The curvature of the side is there as well, as it should be. Again, you've got the mounting holes for the mirrors that we saw a bit earlier on. 4-door buses in Prague, as modelled there. You've got the DPP legal lettering on the window there, which is a nice touch. That's already on it. You don't have to stick that on separately. There's various little caps and things. I think the filler cap there is for the fuel, if I remember rightly, and the one at the back is for the AdBlue, from memory. And you've got some little vents there that are modelled in. It's not quite perfect. You can see the edge of the skirt, the red skirt, is a bit haywire in places. It would benefit from a bit of masking tape and just a touch of red paint. I don't know if you can see it there, just next to that vent there's a little bit of red overspray as well that's crept onto the white. So the finishing isn't quite 100%. There's also a few little marks on the window there. You can see the little first window there and the glass in the door. That appears to be some kind of solvent that's splashed onto it when it was being manufactured. But it's not too bad at all. It does capture the look, as I say, of the real thing. The wheels are remarkable, to be honest, especially the front one. To say again, it's sort of half toy, half model. They really, really are good. I've seen die-cast models, scale models that have got wheels that are far worse than that. they're pretty good, and the tyres are a rubber type material as well. So not only do they look realistic, they also sort of feel realistic as well. Going around to the back, you've got the sort of 2/3 width back window, which is correct. The engine is in the corner there, so that's correctly blanked off. You've got a representation of the ventilation grille there that's printed on. It does look quite good though, although it is printed, it does look effective enough. Got the little repeater lights up at the top there, which are moulded on, so there's some relief to them. They look nice. The moulding lines there of the body. Again, the registration plate mounting is a clip. You've got the catch there. There's a little bit of relief to that as well to obviously open the engine cover. Again, there's an attempt to make the lights look as if they're glass, and they look pretty good. You've got these little bits. I'm guessing they're repeater lights at the bottom as well, but they're moulded in, recessed in as they should be, and the bumper shape looks pretty good. Again, the paint finishing's a bit wonky on it. The red should go, of course, up to the edge of the vertical there, so you could touch that in. And you've also got the lettering that's a little bit blurred, a little bit fuzzy. It says SOR City NB12 and then Euro 6, but it's a little bit, as I say, fuzzy. It does detract from it slightly, which is a shame because otherwise it's really, really good. Go around to the offside again, you've got a ventilation grille that's printed on, but that looks really good from normal viewing distances. The various little catches and things, you've got some repeater lights there that are just painted on, but again they look decent from a normal viewing distance. Another shout out to the wheels, really, really good indeed. The DPP legal lettering again on the window and the logo there, all looking very good. The roof does betray the kind of toy origins a little bit. The plastic it's moulded in is very, very shiny and sort of slippery to the touch. It's the kind of stuff that you would expect a toy to be made from. But there is a lot of detail on it. You've got these panels there and there, which presumably is some sort of either inspection hatch or ventilation hatch. You've got this at the back, which is a ventilator, I would imagine, presumably an extractor for the air conditioning system. But again, there's a lot of detail moulded on there. And the air conditioning unit, you've got a representation of the fans on the top of it. You've got the intake grills at the front there, the little recesses where the catches would be and all that kind of thing. So it is remarkably well detailed for a vehicle that's designed partly as a toy. It's really, really good. And you've got a little bit of red overspray that's crept up onto the roof, but not impossible to correct. If I turn it over, you've got a basic representation of the chassis framework. There's a little bit of a representation of the front springs there, and various other bits and pieces, little bits of air tanks and things like that. But yeah, it's all done in a nice subdued black as well, so if it is raised up slightly when you're viewing it, you're not being sort of dazzled by a shiny chassis from underneath. Looking at the interior, you can see the driver's cab there, driver's seat, really well modelled. The driver's console, the steering wheel, but you've also got the anti-assault screen as well, which is again remarkable on something that's designed mainly as a toy, or partly as a toy. You know, that's the kind of thing you find on scale diecast models at the high end, like Creative Master, Northcore, people like that. A lot of manufacturers don't put them on, so it is nice to see. The interior, you can see as well, is really well done actually. The seats are up on podiums as they should be. There are the correct number of them. They face in all the right directions. You've got the... so I'm just trying to get some light on it without it reflecting off. You can see the engine sort of cover, shower cubicle as people tend to call it, there as well. And again, the seats raised up. They would benefit from being painted. Most of the moulded podiums and things on these buses and the seat backs and things like that are grey, and the seats themselves are red, so it would benefit from being taken apart and having the interior painted. One thing I didn't mention when I looked at the sides, you can see the window pillars of the actual moulding behind there. The painted black bits on the glazing don't actually cover them up, so again, if you took the bus apart, you could paint the pillars behind black just to hide that effect a little bit. Take it apart, you've got 4 screws. There are 2 there in the centre and there are 2 towards the back, and then I'm guessing you just jiggle it about and unclip it from the clips on the registration plate. So it should be fairly easy to take apart, he said. But yeah, it would benefit from being taken apart and having the interior repainted. Again, you could, you know, edge up the skirt a little bit if you wanted to. It doesn't look too bad actually from normal viewing distances. You've got to kind of look at it closely to realise that it's not quite stripe painted. And it would benefit as well if you could either get the glazing out or just mask it over, from giving it a coat of satin varnish just to tone down this shiny plastic. But all in all, it's very, very good. Yeah, it's a very nice model. As I say, I went to Prague. I wanted a model of a Prague bus, and this is about the only one that's really available. So, but I'm very happy with it. It looks very much like it should, and it brings back some good memories. So, if you want one, where can you get one from? How much are they? Well, this came from eBay, the UK site of eBay. All of the sellers that I could find on any site were all from mainland China, basically. So eBay UK, but there were 4 sellers advertising these, and all of them are based in mainland China. They're all selling them for the same price, basically. The cheapest is £22.80 plus £20.16 postage, which sounds a lot, but I regularly pay more than £5 to post things in the UK. So £20 to come from China isn't too bad. So it gives a total of £42.96. That was the cheapest. And the most expensive was £23.62 plus £20.16 postage, so £43.78 all in. So you've got a price differential of 82 pence between 4 different sellers. So there's really nothing in it. I just chose the seller that had the most number of sales and the highest level of positive feedback, which was a seller called Lily's Model, again based in mainland China. But it was an absolute dream. The tracking went on more or less straight away. It showed it moving around China from, you know, the local postage centre to the regional hub to the airport, and then it showed it arriving in the UK, and it actually arrived with me almost a week earlier than it should have done. It was due, I think, between Wednesday and Saturday of one week, and it actually turned up on Saturday of the week previous. So I can't complain. It was a, you know, an absolute dream transaction, really. It came really, really quickly. When you do buy it on eBay, you will get excited when you go to the checkout, because it quotes you at the checkout a slightly lower price, but that's because they put the VAT on afterwards. So you will actually pay the price that's in the listing. As I said, the £42.96 up to £43.78. You can get them cheaper from the only other supplier I could find advertising them for the UK was AliExpress, and you can get them cheaper from there. They were selling them for £12.49 plus £6.82 postage and packing, which total of £19.31. Now, I didn't go with them because I've never bought with AliExpress. In fact, I've never heard of them, but they are apparently an online marketplace similar to eBay. They're based in mainland China, so again, all the stuff is coming from mainland China, and they are, you know, substantially cheaper. It's about half the price, but as I say, I'd never bought from them, so I just stuck to who I knew, basically. But yeah, AliExpress, as I say, £19.31, the cheapest one on there, and again, there were multiple offerings. Is it worth it? Yeah, I mean, if you've been to Prague and you've seen the buses and you've liked the buses and you wanted one for your collection, then this is basically what's available. I've not been able to find any other Prague buses available to buy, but it is nice. It's a nice model. You know, yes, it's a bit toy-like in places because it's designed for both markets, as I've said, but it's a nice enough vehicle. There's a lot of detail on it, and there's a lot of scope as well to improve it. As I say, interior repaint, just tone the plastic down, etc. So there's quite a lot to do to it if you want to, but I do recommend it. It's a very, very nice model indeed. In fact, I've just noticed it's got the little vents there for the demisters as well in the dash panel. I've not actually noticed that before. But yeah, I do recommend it. If you like Prague buses, then go out and get one. It's really, really nice. So as always, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.